Hey there, Cancer. Welcome to your reading for the week of July 28th. And sorry, Cancer, let me just, felt like I needed to give that a couple good shuffles there. You have this Fire Spirit and this Creator God card. Obviously, both cards are cards of life. They're both cards of creation, and it could be a very good creative week for you. And that's something that I would be paying attention to. This would be more creation through action with that Fire Spirit. So a lot of you are clearly thinking about taking action on something, which has been coming up for you for weeks, Cancer. So it kind of makes sense that obviously this would be showing up for you here. You have the Nine of Swords. I don't know, Cancer. I have a feeling that maybe a lot of people are going to get the Nine of Swords this week for whatever reason. Nine of Swords is kind of like a card of worry. It's my card of Groundhog's Day. It's my card of a never-ending nightmare, right? But for whatever reason, and here we go, pointing down to the devil. Everybody had the devil in July readings, in the August readings. And so there could be something weird going on in the world that is causing people to worry. And, I'm recording this video on July 21st. So this will be published on July 22nd, before the week of the 28th. I kind of feel that if something is going to happen, that it's going to happen the week of the 21st. But I would also make sure that you get out of your head, and don't worry about things too much. So that's what I'll say about that. You have the Nine of Swords, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Page of Swords in your current general energies. I feel like you're worrying too much about something you want to start. Plain and simple. Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles, he basically has a blank canvas behind him. He's holding a big-ass seed in his hand, that pentacle, and he could easily plant those seeds behind him. And, everything about the Knight of Pentacles represents knowledge and wisdom, but he just has to get started. And we'll talk more about that in a second, but Nine of Swords says you have the opportunity to change your circumstances. I always say Nine of Swords reminds me of, it kind of basically says that you could be in pain, but you're not in enough pain to make a change. And the Nine of Swords says, don't do that. If something is causing you pain, or if you don't like something in life, then it's time to change it. He can easily get out of bed and change his circumstances, but again, he has to do it. He has to get out of bed and change his circumstances, right? And so that's what I would do there with that card. Again, you have the Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles is like slow progress or no progress. He's the only knight in the tarot that isn't making a move. And you start with that Fire Spirit card. So, the reading itself, like your past several readings, is encouraging you to get started in a new direction, or is encouraging you to get started on something new. And I feel that would be very beneficial for you with the Knight of Pentacles. I would plant those seeds as well with the Knight of Pentacles. I think it'll be, very helpful. I do feel like you're making progress, though, Cancer. You end with the Empress, you have the Magician, you have the Page of Pentacles, Nine of Cups. I mean, it's not, terrible. It's not all bad, right? And that's what I feel like saying. You have the Page of Swords. Page of Swords is a card of curiosity and looking into things. I would be careful. He is looking towards the past. It's like he's looking in this direction. So he's looking towards the past position. He's also looking at these two cards here. One says danger. It says warning signs, fight or flight, or distress. The other says siblings. It says caring, support, rivalry, or role model. So again, if you're worried about some sort of competition in your life or something, it's like, maybe the Page of Swords is saying, stop focusing so much on what you don't want. Focus on what you do want. This way, right? Go this direction, not this direction. This equals bad right here. Nine of Swords, Magician, Devil, bad. Page of Swords, Magician, Nine of Cups, good. It's almost like you have a choice. Like, what you focus on is what you're going to get. If you focus on the Devil, that's what you're going to get. If you focus on the good stuff, that's what you're going to get. So, Pisces had a very similar reading, by the way. If you have a Pisces in your chart, I would definitely watch that reading. Although this could just be collective water energy for whatever reason. But let's see. With the Nine of Swords, yes, you have the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands requires us to do things without knowing. Queen of Wands is my card of learning as you go. And, that could be a little bit of a problem with the Nine of Swords. Then, with the Nine of Swords, it's like maybe that you have to create changes in your life. But, the thing about the Queen of Wands is she doesn't necessarily know what the finish line looks like, or she doesn't even know if there's going to be a finish line. And so she could be a little bit scared to get started on something, or, a little bit scared to start her journey. But really, she needs to follow her bliss. She has this sunflower right here. And the sunflower points towards the sun. It points towards something that makes her happy. And so by following her bliss or moving towards her bliss, that's where she finds success. And that's what I would do if I were you here, Cancer. With the Knight of Pentacles, everything you want and desire is like waiting for you. It's almost like the universe is like, hey, you are Picasso, Cancer, and here's this blank canvas, but if you don't touch your brush to canvas, you're not going to get sell your paintings for millions of dollars like Picasso did, right? And so that's kind of the feeling I get here, Cancer. It's like, yeah, it's like you might be a Picasso, but you have to get started, right? And so 10 of Pentacles is everything you want and desire in your life. And so, like, I don't really feel like you're holding yourself back, but, if you're thinking about taking action on something, whatever it is, could be anything, it could be love, money, business, spiritually, whatever, I would go for it. That looks amazing, like, damn. With the Page of Swords, you have the Five of Cups, too much thinking about the past. Again, we're kind of getting into the height of the retrograde here, so, it makes sense that people could be, worrying more about the past or thinking about the past and things like that as well. I do think Mercury retrograde in Leo, although I don't think this one is that bad, I do think it's a little bit more tricky because we had Mars retrograde last year in exactly almost the same place. Leo is our vitality, it's our life force as well. And so, that's kind of like the tricky part about this retrograde. I think it's also interesting that next year, Jupiter is going to leave Cancer, right? And then it's going to enter into Leo, and it's going to retrograde in Leo. Again, we have like 3 retrogrades in a row in Leo. Crazy. I can't think of a time where something like this has happened before, where it's like we have all the, like, everything is stacking, And so it's kind of interesting. And, what I would say is I would let go of your worries and your fears, your doubts, because everything that you want, you have to let go of the past because there's much better behind you. That's the whole point of the Five of Cups is that he's grieving the loss of these 3 cups, but if he turned around, he would see these 2 cups and this bridge and this castle. So he doesn't just get 2 cups, he gets more. And, I would say that, it's time to embrace the future or something here, Cancer. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this Time Machine card. There you go. You have this Open to Discovery card, right? It's like you're thinking a lot about the past this week, or you're thinking about other times in your life. The Open to Discovery card, like, look, there's like that keyhole, and there's a lot of, it looks more vibrant on the other side of that keyhole. So, it's basically saying it's time to open the door to your new future, or to the future. And that's kind of the feeling I get off of these 2 cards. You have the High Priestess, the Magician, and the Seven of Cups. Yeah, it's a very intuitive time for water signs. More, like, water signs are already very intuitive, right? But I think it's, like, extra intuitive for water signs right now, which is a lot. So I would be trusting that intuition of yours, Cancer. I would be listening to any, any messages, dreams, daydreams, anything like that you're having. The other thing I feel for water signs, and especially you, Cancer, is that it's time for you to reach your full potential. The High Priestess, she has no roof over her head. And, this represents unlimited potential. She really is, I think a lot of people don't know that about the High Priestess, is that she is the card of unlimited potential. And so it's like there is nothing you couldn't accomplish if you set your mind to it. I think you need to believe in the impossible a little bit here. The tricky thing with the High Priestess is that she has this curtain behind her. It's kind of like the Wizard of Oz. It's like you have to peek behind the curtain. You have to see how the sausage is made, right? It's like there's something, like I feel like for some of you, it's like there are things that you want in life. But, if you peek behind the curtain, it might not be as romantic as you think, right? And so it's like, there might be certain things that you have to do, or, there might be certain realities that aren't that great. And so, like, what the hell am I talking about? Well, it's like if you want to build a business, there are probably things that you do want to do, but there are obviously things that you don't want to do as well. It's funny that it's funny because I'll give you a good example of this, right? This is classic Mercury retrograde, right? My accountant contacted me and was like, hey, you moved, but you didn't register your business, right? And I thought that she was going to do it last year, register in the new state that I'm in. And so she never did it. So it's like now I'm having to go back and do it, right? So it's kind of funny that it's Mercury retrograde and this is popping up. But again, it's like that I avoid that stuff. So this is my own fault because like I hate paperwork. I hate dealing with that stuff. It just drives me nuts. It's annoying, right? And, so that's like what I was talking about. It's like there are things that you probably don't want to do that you have to do. That's just like part of how the sausage gets made, right? And so, like, don't ignore those things, is what I feel like this is saying. And it's saying, like, nothing is perfect, right? You have the magician. The magician says that you are using your powers of manifestation to attract what you want. Now, one thing I will say is that he's pointing down to the devil. Like I said, everybody had the devil in July. Everybody's had it in August. This week, you have it. I'm pretty sure Pisces just had it, and those are the two first readings that I've done this week. So we'll have to see what comes up. But again, number one, I would protect yourself from anything that's happening in the world mentally, right? Protect your mental space. Number two, what I would say is I don't really feel this is bad. Again, Mercury retrograde in Leo, life force, could have to do with your life force. The magician could just be saying like, hey, there are certain things that you're going to have to do if you want to, attract whatever you're trying to attract into your life. So it's like if you have bad habits, that's going to prevent you from attracting the things that you want to attract into your life, right? And so I don't really feel the devil has to be bad. I think it's just saying it might be a good time to clean things up. And again, that could also be why the devil has come up for everybody in July and August. It could just be a good time for people to clean up their vibe, to clean up any bad habits, anything that they shouldn't be doing, all that other stuff. Or to remove energy vampires. Energy vampires is anything that's stealing your life or your energy, right? So it doesn't have to be a person, could be anything. You have the Seven of Cups. It's like the universe wants to surprise you is what I hate surprises. I'm totally that type of person. I don't like surprises or anything like that, right? But I think that you have to allow the universe to surprise you is what the Seven of Cups is saying. And here's what I mean. It's like if you're imagining something that you want and desire, and if you're wanting to know that it's going to work before you go on the journey, the universe is going to be like, no, that defeats the purpose. It's like I think sometimes people want to get into relationships and they want to know before they get into the relationship that the person is going to marry them. But that defeats the purpose of going on the journey of life, right? Same thing with business. It's like people want to know. It's like one of my number one questions that I used to get all the time. People say, I want to write a book, but should I write it? I'm like, well, it doesn't matter because real writers write. If you want to be a writer, you have to write. I used to say the same thing with people who wanted to start businesses. I'm like, well, it doesn't matter if it's going to be successful or not because real business people have businesses, whether they're successful or not, right? That doesn't mean you shouldn't try to be successful, but it's like you have to be doing the thing that you want to have it. And, this is clearly saying like, yeah, here you go. You will be successful, but you have to get started. With the High Priestess, you have the Page of Pentacles. Could be like communication, by the way. Like if you're looking for love, this could definitely be a new person communicating with you. Could be any sign, really. I mean, could be an earth sign. Could be, you have water, you have Capricorn, you have Taurus. You have a lot of earth showing up here. You have air right here, fire. I mean, you literally have everything. So definitely could be communication from a new person. Just through it. With the Magician, you have the Knight of Pentacles. And so we have the Knight of Pentacles twice going down to the Devil. It's kind of like saying that you need to believe you're good enough to get started, or something like that. The thing about the Devil is that those people, I had to color in these cards, but they have the chains are hanging down here, like on their neck. And they could easily lift those chains from around their necks and get started on something that they want to get started on, but it's like they have to get started. And so I feel that maybe some of you have to release yourself from control. With the Seven of Cups, you're being called to something. I mean, this has been coming up for you for weeks. You're not crazy. It's like, I feel like the universe is like, yes, I'm trying to get your attention over here. By saying I'm talking about the universe. It's like the universe is saying, like, I'm trying to get your attention over here on something. I'm calling you to something. I'm calling you to do something, right? Page of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles. It's like sometimes I think we can get signs, or it is a sign, or we think it's a sign, but then we're like, nah, it can't be that easy. Or, it's like maybe we ask for a sign and we see like 222 on the clock or something like that. And like literally, I feel like it's like the universe is saying, yeah, I've been trying to tell you, Cancer, to move in this direction, but you keep asking for another sign, going this way. So, it's definitely something I would pay attention to the signs or whatever. I didn't want to grab those two. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, again, you have the siblings card. It says caring, support, rivalry, and role models. You have this danger. It says warning signs, fight or flight, or distress. Again, I don't know. I'm not trying to sketch people out or anything, but I think something weird is going on. So, whatever. I'll just say that. Keep your head on straight. pay attention. The other thing I would say is, guess what? If you see a warning sign, pay attention to it. Like I said, a couple months ago now, my brother and I were supposed to travel, and I was like, no, we're not going. I had a super weird feeling about it, and I just said no. And I'm glad I did. So, whatever. But what I would say here is that, again, if you get weird feelings, weird vibes, weird whatever, I would definitely pay attention to that. Spiritual flat tires, all that other good stuff. And you do have the devil here, so, definitely something to pay attention to. It's not a bad row, though, which is interesting. You have the Nine of Cups, Page of Pentacles, Devil. Nine of Cups says that you will get the energy that you are in, right? Now, obviously, if we're in fight or flight or distress, we're going to have a hard time manifesting. So it's like maybe this is saying, like, getting into a good vibe would be a good energy for you. It's kind of funny that I just said my brother, because you have this siblings card. If you're doing something with a sibling or whatever, it's like maybe that's what you need to pay attention to. I kind of feel good about that sibling card, though. I feel that this is saying, like, if you have siblings, it could even if you don't, like maybe you have a friend that you would consider a sibling or someone who's very close to you. I kind of feel it's talking about support. And again, if you're feeling off track in life, I feel this is saying, tap into the resource of people, because that could get you back on track. I am also getting that you've been wishing for something, which I feel like I've said to you before, Cancer. It's like you have been, like, I think you are the creator god. This is you right here, Cancer. Like, you've been asking for something. It's like you created it, and now the universe is like, why are you not grabbing on to this thing that you created, right? So, I don't know. You have the Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles is usually good news. So, normally we look at the knights as communicators or messengers in the tarot, but I also feel that the Page of Pentacles is a communicator. So there definitely could be communication, or something could be trying to communicate with you here, or someone could be trying to communicate with you with the Page of Pentacles. But I do feel like like I said, that there could be good news coming in for you with this card as well. So that's nice. I also, I am getting something about a book. Like, literally the word book just popped into my head. It's like, but if you feel, and it's funny that I was talking about writing and everything, but like maybe some of you are writing a book, but I feel like this is different. Like, if you see a book, that stands out to you, or if you feel like you should read a book or something, then the answer is yes. I don't know, very random message, but there you go. You have the Devil. I really feel like this is about cleaning up. I feel like this is about cleaning something up, cleaning up your vibe, cleaning up your energy. I feel it doesn't even have to be that big of a deal. It's like we all have certain things that we could probably improve. Like I'm saying this doesn't have to be dramatic. Sometimes I think tarot is too dramatic, right? And so this doesn't have to be some super toxic, narcissistic, whatever word people use to get views, right? Whatever that is, it doesn't have to be that. It could be something very simple. Like maybe you watch too much Netflix. Maybe you should be getting to work and you're not, right? So I would just pay attention to whatever those things are, and that's it. I'm not even worried about it, because you have the Eight of Cups as well right here. And the Eight of Cups is coming up in the good stuff, so it looks to me like you're walking away from something. Now, on a global scale, I don't know. Like, I'm worried that there's something about control. I'm not getting anything else. But, I literally said this in the August readings and stuff. It's like there's something about control that is an issue. And I wish I could get more information, obviously, because I also want to avoid control, right? With the Nine of Cups, you have the Queen of Pentacles. Also, you could just be attracting a Capricorn, or someone with Capricorn in their chart here, Cancer, which makes perfect sense. It's your opposite sign. So, definitely a possibility. The Queen of Pentacles is Capricorn. The Queen of Pentacles is also multiplication. So, and money looks very good in this reading. If you're doing anything to stand out more with the Empress showing up right next to it, definitely could be improvements in your finances. With the Page of Pentacles, you have the Six of Wands. I am pretty sure you also get this card with me a lot, or that you get the Chariot as well, which is your card. But, you get these cards of attention. Six of Wands, a card of standing out. It's a victory, it's success, it's attention, all those other good things. So you could be finding a lot of success. Now, this person right here is meant to look jealous. And this sibling card says rivalry on it. So I would ignore jealous people. If you're finding success, if you're growing in success, if you're growing in influence in your life, just ignore it, right? It's just that simple. Trust me, I have almost 1 million subscribers. I get plenty of hate, right? I just, over the years, have had to learn to just turn it off. Just not pay attention to it, right? And your life will be so much easier if you do that. With the Devil, you have the Ace of Cups. Yes, definitely could be love. Again, the Devil doesn't have to be bad. It could be a Capricorn, or someone with Capricorn in their chart, like I said. And you could be attracting, love with that card. The Ace of Cups also could just say that you need to do more things that cause flow in your life. The Ace of Cups is overflowing. So the whole point of the Ace of Cups is to create more flow. and to do things that cause you to overflow. And if you do that, then good things will happen. It's a self-filling cup. The devil are things that are the opposite in your life. The devil steals energy. This is something that you can do endlessly. So doing more of those things will probably help. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this Divine Infinity card. It says, challenge yourself to go beyond your limitations and you'll find your infinity. Yes, didn't I kind of said something about this, about you? We were talking about this on the High Priestess, potential, right? This is basically the same thing. It's like you really have to expand and do harder things. You have this Tears of Remorse. It says, make peace with your regrets and allow the past to guide your actions in the future. I kind of said this, I guess, that you're more future-focused, or you need to be, and, that's what I'm getting there. You have the Empress, the Four Swords, and the Eight of Cups. Empress could be you being very attractive at this time, so if you are looking for love or anything else, I would definitely get out there. I also feel pretty good about abundance. Again, there's something about, like, needing to do the things you don't want to do, and, like, trust me, I hate to hear that as well, but, whatever. It's like, there might be some annoying paperwork that you have to fill out, or, there's like, something behind the scenes with that High Priestess that I was getting, where it's like, do I really have to do this stuff to get what I want, It's like, it's kind of like how I feel about, like, dating. It's like, if you're dating, it's like, oh my god, I have to, like, no, I can't just lay around all night. I have to get up, get dressed, and go out, when I just want to be in bed. It's like, well, yes, if you want love, yes, you do have to do that. So, there you go. Unless you go on day dates. But day dates are kind of lame, like I think, personally. I think it's much more romantic to go out at night, right? You can candles, the whole 9 yards. Day dates usually, I don't know. It's just easier for people to see my face during the day, which is, that's when they can see all the zits, right? So there you go, Cancer. Maybe that's what you're feeling with that card. You have the Four Swords. Four Swords, resting, relaxing, recovering. Amazing week for healing. I mean, the whole Mercury retrograde, I think, is good for healing in general. So, until the middle of August, basically, I would do whatever you can to rest, relax, recover, heal. All that would be very good for you. You have the Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups is about walking away from things that no longer serve you, and I think it would be an amazing time to do that as well with the Devil. I think this card is again more in the direction of doing more of what you want, so that you can clean up your vibration, and doing less of the things that steal your energy. And if you do that, I think you'll be attracting some good stuff. Yes, with the Empress, you have the Four Swords, resting, relaxing, recovering. Also, by the way, I said earlier that you've asked for something. He is hoping and praying for a blessing. I mean, how many times do you have to get this? I'm pretty sure all your past readings basically say, you've asked for this. But you are the creator god. It's like you've created something, but, I also think you need to, like, make it solid here on Earth, right? With the Four Swords, you have the Knight of Wands. Yeah, Knight of Wands says be flexible and, be playful. It's like maybe that's the problem. You've asked for something, you've prayed for something, Four Swords twice, but maybe it doesn't look exactly how you think it should look, but really it is. So, I would be more flexible. With the Eight of Cups, you have the Five of Swords. Sorry, that's confusing me for some reason. But the Five of Swords is a card of walking away from things that no longer serve you. It's very similar. It's about cutting things out. It's coming up in the good stuff, so it's going to be positive. Obviously it's going to be a good thing that you're walking away from whatever you're walking away from here, Cancer. And so I would say, do it. And let's see, I'm using the Oracle of the Radiant Sun here. Now, you start with this extremism card. Again, I've been saying for years now, the past couple of years, that we have Neptune and Aries. Neptune and Aries is, a couple of years ago, I started warning people about it. It was still in Pisces. It is going to retrograde in Pisces, but Neptune and Aries is extremism. Extreme ideas, extreme beliefs, all that other stuff. And so with the Devil, maybe that's what we need to be careful of, is extreme ideas or extreme people, right? You have this Flattery card. Yeah, I do think you could be attracting solid love. You've been getting very good love cards with me. And it's like these two people are facing each other. These two apart. So maybe that's what you're used to. But I really do feel that you could be attracting like a real counterpart here, Cancer. Like someone where you really see eye to eye with this person. So that feels good. You have this Patience card. You've probably been very patient for this as well. There's like this couple here on this card. So I do feel that a lot of you have maybe been waiting for like a very strong connection, and it's here. You have this defense card. Yeah, it's. I think Mercury retrograde is always a good time for boundaries. You know, a good time to put up boundaries or enforce your boundaries. Good time to make sure people aren't taking advantage of you. You know, all that stuff. With the devil here, I would say definitely I would be looking at things that are wasting your time or stealing your energy, and I would eliminate them. You have this vision card. Yes, vision is very important for whatever reason. Since like the beginning of 2025, I've been getting these messages for people that we need to have like laser-like focus. We need to like pick something and make it happen. I kind of think that it's probably all the Aries energy, Neptune and Saturn mostly. They will retrograde out into Pisces. I don't care. It's already been in there. And next year, by the time we get to February, then both planets will be back in Aries. So really, I think we all should be practicing that laser-like focus. We pick something we want to accomplish, and we accomplish it, no matter what. And if you do that, you will be successful. If you don't, then you won't. So there you go. But this looks pretty good here, Cancer. So I would just avoid toxicity, toxic people. But it looks good. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.